In a Catholic world unsettled by rumors of an upcoming conclave, a new movement continues, silently but unstoppable, its fight against tradition. The news arriving today from the Diocese of Charlotte leaves people perplexed and hints at scenarios that will define the future of the Church. It's important to listen to every detail of this matter because it affects all of us. The crisis is being felt. Even Pope Francis isn't well. In the Vatican corridors, rumors spread quickly. The cardinals operate in the shadows, and there's already talk about the next papal election. Let's not fool ourselves. Regardless of what happens in the coming weeks and months, it's hard to imagine a break from the path already taken. The Synodal Church has taken shape. The change is already irreversible. In recent years, traditional Catholicism has been gradually dismantled. A tradition first mocked, then marginalized, and finally openly attacked. The old rituals now forbidden, the traditional communities pushed aside or temporarily managed, and even the seminaries, transformed into centers of progressive ideologies, have replaced the old model. Roman Catholicism has given way to a new, fluid, and undefined religiosity that no longer demands anything from man and no longer offers anything to God. Thus, even the eventual arrival of a new pope would find itself facing a completely transformed reality. This break spreads systematically and widely throughout every corner of the hierarchy. Anyone who dares to speak of restoration, anyone who tries to change the course, will encounter a church system programmed to crush any dissent. Today, from Charlotte, we have surprising news concerning a group of Franciscans, the Marian Friars Minor. For a long time, these friars have strived to live out their vocation with true dedication. Following the example of St. Francis, they have adopted a strict rule of poverty, dedicating themselves to prayer, penance, and the celebration of the traditional Latin Mass. Their intention is simple and clear: to rebuild a genuine Franciscan community, free from the compromises and worldliness that today seem to have contaminated many religious realities. At first they settled in the Diocese of Covington, Kentucky, but they soon ran into the stubborn local hierarchy. The precise reasons remain unclear, however. Anyone familiar with the current landscape knows how hard it is for a group faithful to tradition to find acceptance in modern dioceses. Adherence to the Latin Mass and a strict Franciscan way of life were not well received. Faced with such difficulties, the Marian Friars Minor decided to move to the Diocese of Charlotte in the Burnsville area, hoping to finally build their monastery and follow their vocation without interference. There they started fundraising, gaining the support of many faithful who saw them as a beacon of hope in times of confusion. But the calm soon broke. Despite never causing any trouble, and their only goal always being to serve God faithfully to tradition, they were also rejected in Charlotte. The measure came like a bolt from the blue, following the same pattern. The Bishop of Charlotte officially declared that the Marian Friars Minor, unrecognized by the diocese or the official church. As a result, the church leaders have told their followers not to help the friars in any way. No donations, no offering them a place to stay, no working with them. But of course, you have to wonder, why? What have these friars done to deserve such exclusion? They haven't spread heresies or been involved in scandals. Their only sin has been living following the example of St. Francis, with rigor, poverty, and total dedication to the traditional Mass. It is precisely this integrity that makes them uncomfortable. Today, there's a lot of talk about acceptance and inclusion, but those ideals seem to be reserved only for those who embrace modernism and worldliness. Those who choose instead to remain faithful to tradition are labeled as obstacles, a relic of a past that some want to forget. Radical evangelicalism, silent prayer, and a life of sacrifice no longer have a place. So, with a sudden decision, these friars found themselves homeless, without official recognition and deprived of the support of their own church. But those who expected them to disappear miscalculated. Instead of disbanding, the friars minor of Maran found an unexpected refuge, following the example of so many persecuted saints who sought protection elsewhere. And they found it in an unexpected place, where tradition is still honored, a Byzantine monastery. The monastery of the Holy Transfiguration, belonging to the Byzantine Rite Catholic Church, has opened its doors to the friars, welcoming them into their community, a gesture loaded with symbolism and prophecy, while the Western Church, the former beating heart of Christianity, casts out those who show too much faithfulness. The Catholic East welcomes what is rejected. In just a month, the perception towards them has radically changed. From being seen as a problem in the Diocese of Charlotte, the friars have been honored in a monastic community that has recognized the value of their vocation. These men, expelled for being too Catholic, now find themselves in an environment that not only doesn't hinder them, but supports them in their path of prayer and penance. What irony! While some dioceses try to get rid of tradition, it keeps thriving in unexpected places. Those who wanted to silence these faithful have actually turned them into symbols of unwavering faith. But the story doesn't end here. What will happen to the donations the Maran Friars Minor collected to build their monastery and spiritual retreat center? Until recently, their website clearly showed that the donations totaled $771,000, a significant amount thanks to the generosity of so many faithful who believed in their project and wanted to support a work based on prayer, penance, and loyalty to tradition. Now, with the friars forced to move, managing these funds becomes a very sensitive issue. The Bishop of Charlotte, after officially excluding them, is probably trying to block or reclaim that money, deciding whether to return it to the donors or allocate it to less controversial projects for the diocese. For the moment, however, on this matter, there is a deafening silence. Meanwhile, even though they lost their original monastery, the Franciscan friars of Maran haven't given up on their mission. Thanks to the Monastery of the Holy Transfiguration, they've found a new home that lets them keep serving God, free from the meddling of those who wanted them gone. Their story remains, therefore, as a disturbing reminder for all those Catholics who still believe that faithfulness to tradition is a valuable asset and not an obstacle to eliminate. So, what did you think? If you liked the video, comment Amen. God bless you.